This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very excited to be speaking with John Leguizamo about The Green Veil. How are you, John?
I'm doing great now that I'm talking to you.
Same here, same here. This is a cool and interesting show, but I feel like the way this role reads on paper, he doesn't seem like a very nice guy.
Oh no, he's despicable, disgusting, vile, sickening. Um, yeah, this is based on historical fact. And the creator Aaron Rappaport was doing research, and he found that in the 1950s, the U.S. government was taking Native American children from their homes and putting them up for adoption with white families so they couldn't inherit the land. And then they would give the land to oil companies and other corporations. So when Aaron told me that, I was like, oh, yo, this is disgusting. I can't believe it. I'm in. And we created this character who is an amalgamation. So he's historical fiction at this point, and he's the FBI guy who goes into these families and takes these children from their homes.
It's definitely a very interesting and unexpected stories in a lot of ways. I think it's also something that unfortunately we've seen, the US has a very bad history when it comes to a lot of things. Where is the line between fact and fiction? I know your character is fictional, but how much of the story sort of is very closely based on what actually happened?
Well, this is what happened, and we have some testimonies from the real children taken who are adults now in the last episode, uh, giving their testimonials of what damage this did to them. This is all most of it is based on fact. Obviously, it's fictionalized to create Gordon and this family. What was fascinating about my character, because I don't need people to like me as this character as Gordon, but I wanted to understand how you get to this point. And so that was the interesting challenge. How do you make a character this disgusting accessible, but only to understand so that we know how this can happen? And because Carlos Santayana, George Santayana, the great philosopher, not Carlos, the singer, said, we need to study history so we don't repeat it. That's the point of doing shows like this, is that we don't repeat it.
It also has a sort of twisted sense of humor that comes in at unexpected moments. How did you sort of balance that with the very dramatic and disturbing nature of the material?
Well, you gotta make it entertaining at some point. I mean, otherwise people won't watch or be interested. It still has to be fun and in its own fun way. I mean, it's a very sexy show. It's got its humor, it's got its dark side, it's edgy, it's twisted. I mean, working with Hani was amazing. The woman playing my wife, Mabel, is such a blast to work with, and we're creating this really dysfunctional, sick couple that actually loves each other, but has this really dark sexual um, behavior and just a dark side of the 50s. The 50s, there was a lot of oppression in the 50s. Latin, black people, white women, and this is how people survived it.
I was also surprised to learn that this is your first lead television role because I know you've done a lot of TV in the past. How does that feel to be leading a show for the first time?
It was incredibly exciting and revelatory, because I was like, oh man, I can carry a show. I can carry 8 episodes. Uh, you know, uh, we Latin people are 20% of the population, and almost, at times 30% of the U.S. box office, a third of subscribers on streamers, a third of sports fans. We had $3.2 trillion to the GDP, and we had $3.4 trillion of buying power, and yet we're less than 6% of the leads, less than 1% of the stories being told, less than 0.5% of the executives. And it's not okay, because white people are only 58.9% of the population, but are getting 100% of the executives, 100% of, most of the time of the leads and stories being told. It's not fair. It's not equitable.
Well, it's great to see you in this position. It's also exciting, hopefully. I'm sure a little nerve-wracking to be, on a brand new streaming service also.
No, that's the thrilling part. There's no nerves to that. Oh man, it's incredible. We create our own platform, the network, and you can get it on the network.stream, and it's free. If you're like me, you love anything free. Not even a credit card needed. Of course, you have to put up with ads because we had to pay for it somehow. And we'll have two new shows every quarter. And the second show is a comedy with Steve Coogan and Wanda Sykes, John C. Riley, and Paul Rudd, the incredible Paul Rudd.
Great. That's great. And is this the kind of show that you think once people get into it, it's better if they haven't seen it yet, rather to watch everything all at once, or better to sort of split it up by a couple episodes at a time?
Hey, I come from the old school days of circling stuff on your TV guide, so I like being teased that way. But a lot of people I know don't. They want to just binge it and see it all at once, and so now it's bingeable.
That's great. That's great. And so you've, as I mentioned, you've had a lot of other TV roles in the past. I know recently you came back to a role in Waco in the follow-up series. How do you feel you've, approached roles differently as your career has gone on?
Oh yeah, definitely you approach different things differently as you age. I'm looking now for a lot more important roles, important projects, things that have meaning or that are trying to change the world in a better way. I'm trying to look for that kind of stuff.
What kind of things would you like to try that you haven't done it so far?
I would like to do a founding father is what I like to do. Something, because the first European language spoken in the Americas was not English, but Spanish. So we've been here since 1492. So I want to see a lot more Latin period stuff from way back when, because we were here. I mean, some of George Washington's biggest allies were Cuban guys that were helping him, Juan de Miralles, and we had 10,000 unknown Latino patriots that fought in the American Revolution. I want to see all that. I want to see us included in history, not excluded.
Like that. I was at the South by Southwest Film Festival a couple months ago and had the chance to see a nice little film called Bob Trevino Likes It,
Oh God,
which
isn't that movie's so healing, so beautiful. Tracy Lehman is such an incredible filmmaker, such an original voice, and such an important voice that we need in our times. Something that brings it light to decency and respect. Some of what we're missing so much in this country right now, in this Trumpian moment, that sort of he's abolishing with respect for others. So yeah, I'm glad you saw it because I found it really beautiful and touching.
for those who haven't had the chance to see it, which would be most of you, it's about a uh, woman who's very disenchanted with her own father and finds someone on Facebook with the same name who's a lot more charming. And I like that it's sort of Facebook is so prominent now, but it's like such a simplistic little thing. It's not all these, it's just an older version. And that's sort of nice because it feels a lot more simplistic that way, which is nice.
But it's based on Tracy's real life. It happened to
I
her.
know. Yeah,
She has a Bob Trevino in her life,
it's pretty incredible.
she had a very difficult childhood and her father was a narcissist and difficult. So she left home early, and then she tried to get back with her dad, but she didn't have info, so she went on Facebook and befriended the wrong guy. And then they realized shortly that it wasn't them, but he became a great friend in her life.
That's really nice. Well, at Awards Buzz, we love talking about awards, and I'm curious if you've seen a show or performance recently that has really blown you away that you think is particularly awards worthy.
Oh wow! Recently, oh snap. I mean, I guess I'm still on the Four Daughters of last year. It was nominated for an Oscar and it won, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that our Four Daughters won. It's
I
for
don't think it
documentary.
did, but it was nominated. Yeah,
Oh, it didn't win. Oh, I thought it did. Oh no, you're right. You're right. My bad. But that was one of the most incredible, powerful documentaries I've ever seen. It really changed the way I look at film and cinema, and that's what I'm looking for.
and aside from the network, the Green Veil, what else do you have coming up right now?
I got a play that I wrote, an original piece coming to the Arena Stage Theater this fall, October 17th to November 24th. What you need to escape from this election, come down and see my show in DC.
Big fan of the Arena Stage. My sister used to work there, so it's
Oh my
always nice
God,
to
one of
hear
the
about
most
that.
prestigious theaters. How lucky is your sister?
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much, John. I wish you plenty of success with this show, with the network, and with helping to increase diversity in storytelling.
Oh, thank you, Abe. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.